Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're tackling something both terrifying and artistic. I'm going to be sculpting Art the Clown from the Terrifier movies. As you watch the time-lapse of the sculpting process in Zbrush, I'll also take you through Art's backstory. What makes him one of the scariest clowns in horror? Stick around until the end to see the final render of this creepy character. So let's start with the basics. For this sculpt, I'm using Zbrush to create Art the Clown from scratch. First up is the base mesh. I like to begin by blocking out the general proportions, focusing on the head and face, since that's where a lot of Art's personality comes through. Once the basic structure is in place, I start refining the face, adding those sharp cheekbones and the hollow eyes that make Art so unsettling. His facial features are exaggerated, almost like a caricature, which makes him even more terrifying. While I'm sculpting his face, let's talk a bit about Art's origins. Art the Clown first appeared in a 2008 short film called The Ninth Circle, but he really came into his own in the 2013 anthology film All Hallows Eve. It wasn't until 2016, though, with the release of Terrifier, that he truly became a modern horror icon. Art stands out not just for his appearance, the black and white mime-like clown costume and his disturbing grin, but for his lack of remorse or motive. He doesn't speak, and his silence only makes him more menacing. But what drives him? Unlike most horror villains, Art isn't given a clear backstory or motivation. That's part of what makes him so frightening, the lack of explanation. Art the Clown is a representation of pure evil, the embodiment of chaos. Some fans believe his actions are motivated by the simple pleasure of terrorizing and killing, as we see him choose his victims at random. This unpredictability is what makes him even more dangerous. What's even scarier is the way Art blends humor with horror. His clown persona plays with the idea that something traditionally funny and lighthearted can turn deadly. You might notice during his attacks, he often has a sadistic sense of humor, using exaggerated gestures and props, almost like he's performing for an audience. What makes Art stand out from other horror villains is his ability to create dread through silence. He doesn't need dialogue to terrify. His presence is enough. And while most horror characters have a tragic backstory that explains their brutality, Art doesn't. His violence is random, senseless, and that's what keeps audiences on edge. There's no rhyme or reason, just carnage. In Terrifier 2, we see Art become even more brutal, taking his twisted axe to another level. He doesn't just kill his victims, he mutilates them, often drawing out the violence. Some scenes in Terrifier have been described as some of the most disturbing in modern horror, and that's no accident. Director Damien Leone intentionally wanted to push the boundaries of horror, creating a villain that's as sadistic as he is unforgettable. But here's the real question. Is Art human? Or is there something supernatural about him? In Terrifier 2, we see hints that there might be more to his character than meets the eye. Fans have speculated that Art could be a demonic figure, sent to cause chaos and destruction. But the truth remains unclear. That mystery adds to his allure and keeps audiences wanting more. So why do people keep coming back to Terrifier and Art the Clown? Part of it is that Art taps into primal fears. The fear of clowns, the fear of the unknown, and the fear of senseless violence. He breaks the mold of typical slasher villains by having no limits. There's no moral code, no tragic backstory, just pure terror. Whether or not we ever fully understand Art's origin or purpose, one thing is clear. He has become a fixture in modern horror, a new face of fear for a generation of fans. Now that the head is starting to take shape, I move on to his clown costume. Art's costume is relatively simple, black and white with sharp contrasts. The folds and creases in the fabric are important to get right because they add realism. I'm using a combination of sculpting tools in Zbrush to create those details, making sure the fabric looks like it's been worn and stretched. It's really important to focus on the details here. A well-sculpted character doesn't just rely on the face. It's the whole design, the textures, the way the light will hit the surfaces. Everything adds to the final piece. Art the Clown is unique in the horror genre because he doesn't speak, but his silence is what makes him so menacing. He doesn't need words to terrorize his victims. Just his presence is enough. In Terrifier 2, we even see hints that Art might not be fully human, possibly something supernatural. This adds another layer of complexity to his character. Fans are left wondering, is he just a sadistic killer, or is there something darker driving his brutal actions? And final sculpt of Art the Clown. I've rendered this in Photoshop to really bring out the details. You can see how the textures on the face and costume come to life, and those hollow eyes just make him even creepier. This is a character that's truly terrifying, both in his design and in his actions. Let me know in the comments what you think of the sculpt, and if you'd like to see me tackle any other horror icons in the future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more horror-inspired content on the way. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay spooky.